I have the distinct honor in welcoming today's guest, Maine Supreme Court Justice Leigh Saufley. Welcome to Thornton and to Saco.
Thank you very much.
Let's start with how and why did these traveling trials, if you will, come to be?
Well, they started about 3 years ago, and remember that they're not trials. They're actually appellate hearings. And about 3 years ago, we started talking with some communities about how to connect local communities and students who are interested in the law with this particular area of law that you don't see very much in other places. And we were invited to do this in a school in Caribou as a result of Senator John Martin's invitation. There were about 700 or 800 students who were able to come and watch an argument. It was very successful, and so we've kept it up.
What has the reaction have been with schools and students across the state?
Surprising to me, because as you can tell from what you just heard, appellate arguments are not as exciting sometimes or as lively as trials. Students have really taken to these arguments. They have followed the cases. They wait for the decisions of the court. The teachers and the students get involved in really talking about the development of the law, and we've been very pleased with the response.
What were some of your inspirations behind getting involved in the judicial system?
Well, I actually went to law school because I had been trying to find a way to improve the world. I think that's what all of us want to do. We want to be useful. And I saw law school as a tool to help me be useful to the world, and then eventually had a job that I just loved, and from that job I was invited to apply to be a judge.
As the Chief Justice of the Maine Supreme Court, what are some of your duties and responsibilities?
I'm responsible both for the casework that you just saw, along with my 6 colleagues, and we engage in collegial conversations about the development of the law. I'm also responsible for the day-to-day operations of the judicial branch, along with the state court administrator. And I have a third role, and in that role I serve as the leader of the third branch of government, working with the legislative branch and the executive branch.
What types of issues do you solve on a regular basis or cover?
Well, aside from the case types that you saw some of today, what we constantly grapple with is the need to provide ready access to justice for a lot of citizens who need the courts on a very, very slim budget.
Okay. Now I'd like to read a quote from your speech from January 30th, 2007 to the joint convention of the first regular session of the 123rd Legislature.
Nicely said.
Thanks. Quote, "First, the state of the judiciary in Maine has been steadily improving over the last several years, and 2006 brought additional and substantial improvements. Second, unfortunately, all of these improvements will be overshadowed if we fail to make the courthouses safe. But because the safety of men, women, and children seeking justice in our court buildings is so crucial, I begin today with that point." You continue to say, "We have sufficient security staff to provide marshals for active courtrooms. However, we have no security for hallways or entrances, and we have no staff dedicated to screening for weapons at the front doors." Can you comment on that subject of court security?
Sure, absolutely. It's one of the biggest concerns that I have in attempting to provide a safe and accessible system of justice in the state of Maine. The legislature, in fact, responded to my request, and effective in July of this coming year, there will be 5 new teams of entry screeners available to the state of Maine throughout the state. Each team is 2 people, and we will begin to be able to do entry screening. Entry screening is something you recognize from airports. Right now, without real attention to security, it's possible for people to sneak weapons into courthouses and really create serious concerns about people's safety. Because when people are in courthouses, things are not going well in their lives. Nobody ever comes to court on a really good day. And we want to make sure that we are keeping weapons out of people's hands while they come into the courthouses.
What have you been doing to make sure that happens?
Most of what I do is work with the legislature to find the resources, because we already have, and we did this 3-4 years ago, we already have all the equipment we need. We have what I refer to as the Star Trek arch for every single courthouse that screens metal. We have metal detectors that are handheld, and we have x-ray machines for some of the larger buildings. What we need are people to staff the equipment, so I work every single year with the legislature to try to obtain more people to make sure the courthouses are safe.
Have you enjoyed your position as Chief Justice?
there is no better job in all the world for someone who is a lawyer. I think I am the luckiest person on the face of the earth.
Great. Thank you so much for taking the time
Thank
to
you.
talk with us
It was
today.
delightful to talk to you.
Enjoy your time in Saco and at Thornton
Thank you.
Academy.
Thanks.
And thank you for watching.